Hi Avish, how's it, man?
Hey, Sid, good to see you again, buddy. How you doing?
Awesome, man. Yeah, this World Cup is gathering steam, and I'm happy to finally see an upset, which was Australia and Zimbabwe. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that was great for the game,
Mhm.
great for the group. I mean, everyone spoke about Group D being the group of death, but there we go. Zimbabwe kind of created another group of death, which I think is probably the group of death at the moment, with the way the table is panning out. And
Mhm.
Australia have all to do to stay alive in this tournament. Brilliant, brilliant performance from Zimbabwe. Outplayed Australia definitely in all formats, in all facets of the game. I mean,
Mhm.
they outfielded them, they outbowled them, they outbatted them. It was a very strange performance from Australia, eh? But I cannot praise Zimbabwe,
Mhm.
any more than what I've done. They've been superb. They've been superb in the last two games. They've really acclimatized to conditions in Sri Lanka and put out a brilliant performance, a memorable win for them.
It's kind of funny because I remember last week you were predicting Australia were gonna be vulnerable in this group because of conditions you had mentioned, and also because of how they played in Pakistan. And it's looking your prediction is looking pretty good so far. And Monday will definitely confirm that prediction if they lose to Sri Lanka.
Yeah, absolutely. And I told you the team that could have caused
Hmm.
trouble in this group was Zimbabwe. I was
Oh,
very strong on Zimbabwe in this group here. I mean, who else is in this group? Ireland and
okay. Let me look at
Oman.
that
Yeah, no,
quickly.
no, no,
No, no, yeah, yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think Australia had beaten Ireland already, judging by that. They lost to
yeah,
Zimbabwe,
yeah.
and then yeah, Sri Lanka is definitely at least day tomorrow. And then Oman is the last team which Australia should beat. If they lose to Oman, then there's just no hope.
No, look, tomorrow is a do or die for me, Sid.
Yeah, of course, of course.
That's a
Yeah,
do or
definitely.
die for Australia. Not so
Hmm.
much of a
Hmm.
do or die for Sri Lanka, but a do or die for Australia. But I mean, if Sri Lanka can win that game, they can send Australia packing. So the easy incentive is for Sri Lanka as well, to win that game. So it's going to be a great game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the moment, Australia are staring down the battle here. Zimbabwe's got
Ah,
two games in hand. They've
okay.
got
Let me
two
look at
wins,
them.
two games in hand.
Yeah, yeah.
Australia win tomorrow. If they don't win, it's game over for them. So I'm going with Sri
Hmm.
Lanka. Yeah, home ground advantage.
Okay.
Home ground advantage. Australia haven't looked convincing to me. Bear in mind they've had a lot of injuries, but I mean the players that they brought in haven't really made it work. Eh?
The problem is, I don't think Australia will be out of it yet. I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the net run rate, they're pretty close. Okay, Zimbabwe have a very good net run rate, 1.984. Australia has 1.1. So even if okay, if Sri Lanka beat Australia, Sri Lanka automatically go through. But you remember Zimbabwe played Sri Lanka last. So Australia will be probably relying on Zimbabwe to lose to Sri Lanka. I mean, relying on Sri Lanka to beat Zimbabwe, and Australia you would expect will beat Oman by a lot. So it won't be over. It'll be net down to net run rate there. Be two each, I would assume in that situation.
Yeah, but still, you're expecting Zimbabwe to lose two of their last two games. You're expecting them to lose
Ah.
to Ireland as well. You
Oh
see,
yeah, I forgot about Ireland. Oh no, you're right.
so
Oh, yeah, Australia's out.
so
You're right. Totally forget Zimbabwe.
basically,
Yeah.
you're asking
Oh
for
yeah,
a
I
favor
forgot
from Ireland for Australia to
Sri
stay in this
Lanka.
tournament. So
You mean
yeah,
Ireland or Sri Lanka to the? Yeah, you're right. Zimbabwe are through. They can't lose to Ireland, Zimbabwe. I just saw that now.
I think
There you
I
go.
think I think Zimbabwe are well placed to get out of this group now. Two wins out of two,
Yeah,
they well placed. And if Sri Lanka
yeah,
win tomorrow, they seal their spot as well.
yeah.
And that probably will send Australia packing. No matter no
Mhm.
matter how no matter how much they win on in their final game, if Zimbabwe
Mhm.
beat Ireland, it's
Yeah,
game
then they
over.
threw.
Pack your
Yeah,
bags.
I forgot about that.
Pack
I
your
didn't see
bags.
that part. Yeah, the only way
Yeah, pack your
Australia
bags
could
and
have a
head to Ireland.
chance, the only way Australia have a chance is if they beat Sri Lanka, and then you'll have a net run rate situation because Australia will definitely beat Oman in that situation. They'll have three wins out of one. Zimbabwe will beat Ireland. It will go down to net run rate definitely. Hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they do win, it would go down the next round, right?
But let's hope for
But
Australia to win to get it out of
I
the
mean,
way.
I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at from a logical point of view. I mean, Australia haven't performed well on these pitches.
Yeah.
What confidence do they have going into that game? I mean, you can't write them off for sure. You can't
Of
write them
course.
off. But
Mm.
but Sri
Mm-hmm.
Lanka just know how to play in their home condition. So
Yeah.
I would they would go in as very strong favorites for that game. And given all the problems that Australia have at the moment with the injury, so that is why I don't give
Uh,
Australia much of a chance in that game.
mm. Okay. All
In
right.
the sense that
So
they're gonna overpower Sri Lanka. You know, they've got a lot of
I think
injuries that they need to
I think the best
worry
chance
about at the
for
moment.
Australia to win is to probably both bat first and then defend. I think that's Australia's best chance to win. Bat first, then
Yeah,
defend. I
I
think
think
that's.
so. I think chasing is very difficult at Colombo.
Hmm.
We've seen it so far in this World Cup. It's been very difficult
Okay.
to chase on the ground there. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but I think Sri Lanka have the edge.
Okay. I think yeah, I'll go with you on that. And then Zimbabwe and Ireland. Well, if Zimbabwe lose to Ireland, then they only screw themselves in the foot. But I'll give it to Zimbabwe to go through to the group. Should Sri Lanka go through to the
Yeah,
group
I
first?
mean, it'd be disappointing. Eh? It'd be really disappointing. I mean, Zimbabwe have done all the hard work already.
Yeah.
Beaten Oman, beaten Australia, taken down
Yeah.
Australia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Based on form at the moment, I got to give this to Zimbabwe. I haven't been
Yeah.
impressed by Ireland at all.
Yeah. They've been
You know, it
hopeless.
seems
So
like
many catches dropped. So many
they've,
catches.
yeah, their fielding has been atrocious, and it seems like there's no
Mm-hmm.
consistency in their bowling as well. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I feel this is Zimbabwe's time. Eh? This is Zimbabwe's time.
Yeah.
Beating one of the big teams in this group was going to be the target, and they've achieved that target so far. I mean, if you ask Zimbabwe, you know,
Mm-hmm.
after the first two games, you'd be unbeaten, and you've only got to beat one of Sri Lanka or Ireland to go through. I think they would have
Mm-hmm.
taken it with both hands.
Of course. All right.
Absolutely.
So,
So
uh-huh.
Zimbabwe is in prime position to qualify.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. If you look at Group A, it could also be interesting, but it would need Pakistan to do Pakistan things. Okay, if you look at USA, they're probably going to win today, which means 2 wins, 2 losses. The net run rate looks all right. And then Pakistan, so they lose to India today, they would have had 2 wins and 1 loss. And then they got Namibia. Fine. Namibia are basically going to be party poopers here, which could make UV's favorite team, USA, go through to this group with India. But although I know that seems unlikely, but I'm just saying you could have a interesting conundrum there in that group.
Yeah, it would be nice, but I just can't see that. I really can't see it
Yeah.
happening. I mean, this
Mm-hmm.
is one of those groups that's much easier to predict. I'll be honest with you. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, Pakistan made heavy weather of that first game against Netherlands, and they managed to get the win. But they were a lot better against
Mm-hmm.
USA, the team that
Mm-hmm.
knocked them out last time around. So they learned from that mistake. I think the pitches in Sri Lanka are actually suiting the way Pakistan are playing. And they're going into a lot of spinners as well. Eh? They're going in with five spinners. I mean, you've got Nawaz, you've got Abra, you've got
Tariq.
yeah, Usman Tariq, you've got
Yeah,
Shadab Khan,
that's
and you've
true.
got Saim Ayub as well, who's bowling a few overs. So they're going in with really spin heavy. You know, it's unlike Pakistan, the way they play their cricket. So they're going with a very spin heavy attack, and that's kind of helping them in those conditions. I'm not sure how much it's going to help them today because I mean they're playing against a side that plays spin so well.
Um,
So
I don't know. India has not been the best team of spin compared to yesteryear. They're a bit susceptible, especially if those pitches start taking more turn, especially in Sri Lanka. Although I don't think India played many matches in Sri Lanka, so they should be okay.
yeah, they haven't. Hey, look, I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Eh,
Of
the
course,
big game today.
I
It's
agree
going to
with
be a
that.
lot closer than people think. Yeah, just just for the fact that this game is played in Sri Lanka and not in India. If this game was played in
Mm,
India, I would say India are probably very strong
oh,
favorite, probably 80-20.
mm,
But
that's true.
I I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I still think India are massive favorites. I mean, the one thing that Pakistan lack, I would say, is a finisher. They just
Mm.
don't have that power hitters that that can uh, push a score from I'd say 140 to 180, 190. They just don't have that power hitters. Pakistan, they lack that. They do have the bowlers that can cause India a bit of problems, but I just feel in terms of the batting, they lack that power. That power. They don't have a lot of
Well,
power hitters in the batting lineup.
well, I don't think on that pitch you need to make like 180, 190. Even if they get to, I guess if you
Mm.
make 180 on that pitch, you're doing a good job. And with their bowlers, what's your thoughts on Usman Tariq? He's getting a lot of airtime.
Say again?
What's your thoughts on that, on the Usman Tariq? He's getting a lot of airtime.
Yeah, it's interesting, eh? I mean, he did well in that Australia's T20 series. He's got a very
Okay.
unique action, eh?
You don't say.
I think the guy that plays for Namibia, he's also got that similar action.
Mm.
Erasmus, that low
Yeah, yeah.
release point. It's going to be
Mm.
interesting to see how India counter him today, eh? Because supposedly he's the secret weapon, but it's going to be interesting to see how India actually counter him. But I'm sure they've gone through the video analysis and stuff
Mm.
prior to the
I
game.
was Yeah, I was seeing on YouTube where Surya Kumar Yadav was kind of imitating him in practice, just so that the batsman can get used to him. So India are doing some prep work
Yeah,
on him.
yeah. I did see that. I did see that as well. I did see that as well.
But it's nice. Good to see India being prepared. They're not taking it for granted. But even if India hypothetically lose to Pakistan, they got Netherlands last. I think India should be okay to go through to the group. Look at this net run rate of India, 3.05. They're going through to that group if you're looking at net run rate. There's no reason. So it's just more like for India, another, I wouldn't say nothing to lose kind of game because India will be sad, but it won't be as devastating because they know they can recover quickly to beat Netherlands. With due respect to Netherlands. Pakistan, it's kind of the same thing also, but Pakistan would like to beat India just for ego purposes and stuff like that there.
I think it's the same for India as well. I think both teams, man. I mean, they both teams are hungry to beat each other. So, I mean, India have had such a dominant, uh, you know, uh,
Mm-hmm.
win percentage over Pakistan in the last decade. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even going back for the last 20 years, I would say they've had a dominant record against Pakistan. In T20 cricket as well, it's been really kind of lopsided. Whenever Pakistan have won, it's been massive. It's been massive
Mm.
wins. I mean, if you think about the Champions Trophy in
Mm.
2017 final,
Yeah, don't remind me.
the
Don't
group
remind
game,
me.
the group game in Dubai in
Okay.
2021. But
Baba Azam.
I think as a
Yeah, yeah.
whole,
Mm-hmm.
India have dominated this fixture. I honestly, I just want to see a good game today. You know,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to see a good game that goes down the wire. As a cricket fan,
Mm-hmm.
I like to see that today. Mm.
I think the good game I remember was when they played in Australia and Virat Kohli played that great knock. That was one of their best games from what I could
Yeah,
remember.
I think if we can have a game like that again, it will be a proper nail biter. Good way to end the weekend
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. So we can confirm Group B. We'll say Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe to go through. Sri Lanka do their job tomorrow, and then we can go to Group C quickly. And wow, it's so nice to see West Indies doing so well in cricket. They got 3 wins out of 3. They already through Super 8 with a net run rate of 1.82. England are second place with a negative 0.14. Scotland are 2 points out of 3 games, but they got Nepal last, so you would expect Scotland to win that, and they have a okay net run of 0.35. Although England, you would expect will beat Italy, so I think England will go through in their group pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, Windies have been very impressive, eh? I've been very, very impressed with them. I mean, even from the first game. But I think their performance in Mumbai against England was super.
Mm-hmm.
The way they bowled, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and even the batting as well. I mean, Rutherford is just taking his SA20 form into this tournament as
Mm.
well. They're looking a very confident bunch, eh? And dare I say, don't underestimate this team because
No,
they
no.
do have the power hitting to to trouble teams in this tournament. And I think because they're playing in India, it's kind of helping them sit in a way. It's kind of what happened in 2016 when they won the World Cup. They're looking in good shape at the moment. I mean, they are going to be in a very tough group in the Super 8, but they don't decide I want to write off. England, on the other hand, have been very sketchy. I'll be honest with you.
Hmm.
That that opening game against Nepal. I mean, that game. I mean, we spoke about it last week. Man. That was touch and go. England almost got to scare their lives in that game. I mean, to be honest with you, Nepal should have won that game. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, 11 of the last
Yeah.
overs. I mean, that's criminal, man. In these times, it's criminal. I mean, all you need is a six and a four, and you win the game. So I
Mm.
was I was a bit disappointed in Nepal not getting over the line there because they should have won that game. And then that performance against the Windies, they kind of got exposed there. Against the spinners, Akil and Moti. I thought they both brilliantly. And yesterday, I don't think it was a very convincing performance from England against Scotland. Scotland had their moments,
Mm.
uh, but I just think they just didn't have enough runs on the board. They were probably 30 runs short of a total that could have troubled England. So they were just short of runs in that game. Although they did fight, but they were a bit short of runs. So England have been really, very sketchy. I think they really need to get their act together if they want to go further in this tournament. I mean, beyond the Super 8 stages, because they also in a very difficult group. Let's be honest. I mean, let's assume Pakistan, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and England. That's a tough group, sir. Make no mistake about it. That's a tough group, eh?
Yeah. Call me crazy, but I think after Nepal lost to England, I think they were a bit deflated coming against Italy because Italy really walloped them by 10 wickets. And then now you got England against Italy. Although it seemed like a mismatch, I wouldn't write off Italy. If they can restrict England to plus minus 160, and with that batting lineup of Italy, you never know. It could be fun.
Yeah, it could be, but I mean, it's just the inexperience factor, the inexperience
Hmm.
factor. Italy's got some decent players. I mean,
Hmm.
you've got a lot of expats from Australia in the team.
Okay.
Uh, so it is an interesting team. I think they're a team that's on the rise, but I just feel England, with their experience, they probably get over the line,
Yeah.
even if they have to like
Oh,
limp over the
yeah.
line, they'll get over the line. So England and West Indies to go through, yeah, but England,
Yeah.
I worry for them in the Super Eights. I think the Super
Hmm.
Eights might get hopelessly exposed there.
Yeah. In fact, I'm hoping for Italy to win because I don't know. I just England. I don't know. For some reason, I'm getting a bit irritated with England in a way. The whole way they handle press conferences, they don't take much accountability. They just make excuses or they just complain. It's just. I like England when they were much more humbler back in the past. Yeah, they feel a little bit crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say so, but I think that's the kind of brand that they want to play, and that's what McCallum wants them to do. But yeah, I agree with you. I think there needs to be a lot more accountability, especially amongst the senior players. The senior players need to be a lot more responsible on and off the field. Big time.
Okay, all right. But I am craving for another upset, so maybe that match for Italy and England then.
Potentially. I think England shouldn't return to the T20 World Cup if they lose to Italy. That's my opinion. Ever, ever, ever.
Okay, fine. England and West Indies to go through then in Group C to
Sure.
be realistic then. And then I think SA were fantabulous against New Zealand. I never expected SA to play that well. I thought New Zealand were the favorites because to see how SA played against Afghanistan was just embarrassing to watch. I thought SA were trying to lose it a number of times, but they did it. And then I thought New Zealand were favorites because of that. But yeah, SA showed why they are the best. I don't know how to describe this. I don't want to say they're another version of Pakistan because we're much more consistent, but at times we kind of are like them, although just a much better version of Pakistan, if that makes sense.
Before we get into yesterday's game, let's talk about Afghanistan. because that was a
Which
really,
one?
very messy performance. It was a
Which one?
really, really messy performance
Oh, that,
against
yeah.
Afghanistan on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
game. I mean, so there were errors from both teams. Let's be honest.
Mm.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
SA. I mean, defending 13 of that final over. I mean, it was a brilliant. It was a brilliant innings from Gurbaaz.
Mm.
Let's make no mistake about that.
Yeah, yeah.
SA that one stage they were looking like they were going to get 200, but they ended up with 187, which I thought
Mm.
was going to be enough. But I mean, boy oh
Yeah.
boy, did Afghanistan give them a shock of their lives. Uh, the bowling. I mean, we got to
Mm-hmm.
talk about the bowling. Rabada was really, really awesome against
Mm-hmm.
Afghanistan. I mean, 13 of the final over, you would put your money on Rabada to
Mm.
defend that. But I mean, it just summed
Yeah.
it up. I mean, that first ball where it was a no ball, and I mean, it's criminal to bowl one no ball and over, but you end up bowling two. I mean, I just
Mm.
thought it was absolutely criminal. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
went to a tie, then went to a super
Mm-hmm.
over. The next super over went to a tie, and then I mean, in the end, I mean, I'm just happy that SA got over the line, but it was a very, very messy performance, inconsistent. I mean, very nervous in a way, I would say, when the pressure was on. But they held their nerve. They held their nerve eventually in the second super over. I mean, absolutely crazy for it to go to the second super over. They held their nerve and got over the line. But I mean, yesterday's performance was a lot more dominating, a
Yeah.
lot more convincing. I think that was a thoroughly professional performance from the two. I mean,
I guess
dominant,
it
dominant.
helps. Yeah. I guess it helps that we've not lost to New Zealand in a T20 from when I was looking at the head-to-head, unless that's in World Cup events, I guess.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of people, especially on Cricket Info as well, they were they were touting New Zealand as favourites going to that game, and I mean,
Mm-mm.
rightly so, because I mean their form was pretty good. I mean, against
Mm.
Afghanistan and UAE.
Mm.
But I mean, the way SA came out of the blocks, so, I mean, the bowling was superb. I thought. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they could have restricted New Zealand for much less than that. The bowling was superb. I mean, restricted New Zealand to 175. I think they were 25 runs less. They were 25 runs short of a good score, which was
Mm.
200. I
Mm.
think 200 was found that wicket. That was a brilliant batting wicket. And I mean, the batting was electric yesterday. I mean, in the power play, Aiden and Quinny, I mean, they got the ball rolling, and then Rickleton came in and smashed it around as well. But I mean, that was a very, very mature performance from Markram with the bat. I mean, the way he carried that innings right till the end. Brilliant performance with the bat from Markram. And I mean, winning that game with 17 balls to spare, I thought
Mm-hmm.
it was a bit of a crushing defeat for New Zealand. It was a crushing win. It was a
Mm.
crushing
Mm.
win by 7 wickets and 17 balls to spare. It was a crushing win for
Yeah.
New Zealand. So back to the drawing board for New
Oh,
Zealand.
you mean like
Uh,
crushing win for South Africa, you mean?
yeah, it was a crushing win for SA, definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
it was 17 balls to spare, 7 wickets in hand. A
Yeah,
brilliant performance.
yeah.
I think the only concerning thing was Brevis yesterday. I thought that was
Yeah.
a game that Brevis needed to play a longer innings, get some good batting time going in before
Mm.
getting into the Super Eights. I thought he threw his wicket away yesterday, and we've seen it in this group stage so far, where he's had good starts, but he kind of throws it away. So that's a concerning thing for SA in terms of the way Brevis is, you know, uh, applying himself to the innings. I think
Mm.
SA have banked on this youngster to deliver in big games. So he's got to repay some faith now that Coach Shukri has put him in, and he's got to be a lot more consistent with his
I'm
run
sure he'll
scoring.
deliver.
So
Yeah. I'm sure he'll
yeah,
do it
look,
against
Sid. I
UAE.
mean, he, the pressure is up. The pressure is up now. I mean, UAE game obviously is insignificant now. Let's be honest. I mean that
Yeah, yeah.
the table is already wrapped up. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if he does get a chance to bet, I hope he does cash in. But I think he needs to be a lot more responsible
Yeah, I
when
agree.
he's
Yeah.
at the crease. And I think Markram was a bit livid with him yesterday when he got dismissed. So yeah, that's the only
Okay.
talking point for me. I think apart from that, that was a 9 out of 10 performance from SA yesterday. Brilliant,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that
9 out of 10
surprised me.
performance.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he surprised me. So that's a good thing.
I'll actually go as far as saying 9.5. I think
Ooh.
Brevis is the only thing that kind of took a bit of stick of that performance. But yeah, I'll say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10
But I
performance
guess
from ASA.
Yeah. But I guess to be fair, I guess they were just trying to pump up the net run rate. So I think the ones that went out were just trying to speed up the process with the net run rate. So maybe I don't want to bash Brevis too much, but I get where you're coming from. Maybe if I say about being creative against UAE, maybe they could put Brevis in number 3 just to give him some batting practice, just to see how he'll apply himself. Or maybe even dare I say open the batting because you don't expect SC to lose to UAE. If that happens, then fine, they'll go through to the group, but it's a bit of a dampener, considering how good they've been. You know
No,
what
no,
I'm
no, no.
saying?
I mean, I don't think there's any upset for UAE. But look, yeah, I think that's a good point you make up there. I think Brevis should actually bat high up the order against UAE. Probably coming at number 3. Leave
Hmm.
Markham and Quinny up the order, and then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just kind of switch it around. Put Rickleton at
Hmm.
4 and bring Brevis up the
Yeah,
order because I
yeah,
think he needs some
flexibility.
runs going into the Super 8.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
yeah.
little bit of flexibility, and also Stubbs
Hmm.
as well. Stubbs hasn't got much in this
Hmm.
tournament, but I mean that was an absolute clutch performance from him on on Wednesday in that Super Over. So Stubbs, I'm a little bit less concerned with Stubbs. I think Stubbs has shown a lot of maturity with the way he bats. So I think that could be an option going into that final group game. Let Revis and Stubbs have a little bit of game time. Because I mean, with Muller, I mean, you know what you're going to get from Muller. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hmm.
always consistent. So I think Quinny, Aiden, and Rickleton have had a good hit up in this in this group stage. So I think it's time for Stubbs and Brevis to have a good hit up against UAE and yeah, take it from there because there's obviously going to be tougher tests to come.
I just seen a bit of a masala in this group here, although it's unrealistic. New Zealand play Canada last. Let's say, Canada become a party pooper. New Zealand would have 2 wins, 2 losses, and Afghanistan have UAE and Canada. They could have a net run rate situation, but New Zealand net run rate is zero point 0.7. Afghanistan is minus 0.55. Although Afghanistan in their favor, you should expect Afghanistan to beat those two nations pretty thoroughly. So that could be a bit of fun if New Zealand loses to Canada, but I know it's unrealistic. So I say New Zealand to go through to the group though.
Yeah, I think we've seen enough upsets for now. Yeah, I think New Zealand they I mean even though they got really hammered yesterday, I think they will bounce back quite convincingly against Canada and go through. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they also one of those teams that looks a bit scratchy, I would say, in the bowling department. So
Mm, mm,
they've got
mm.
to pull their socks up in the Super 8 as well, because there's some really good teams in that Super 8.
But Avish, I don't think we've seen that many upsets. The only upset we saw was actually Australia and Zimbabwe. Which one of the upsets are you talking about?
Um, I'm trying to think now.
Yeah, it's been a pretty predictable
Mm,
World Cup now.
yeah, it has. It has. I think the associate teams have probably.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm just trying to
But they
think
have
who else
competed.
could have.
Yeah, but they have competed just without much
Look,
luck. Uh,
I think Italy beating Nepal was a bit of an upset for me. I would say because
Which one?
Nepal are a lot more
Oh yeah,
established
of
than
course. Oh yes, you're right. Oh, yeah, that was the second
Nepal.
upset. Yeah, yeah.
Nepal
Mm,
is a lot more established than Italy. So
mm, mm. You're right.
yeah,
You're right.
but I think one upset is enough now. I think New Zealand would go through. Yeah, they'll steamroll Canada for sure.
Right. Before we wrap off, let me just check something quickly. I just want to. So let's just confirm India and Pakistan quickly. I'll say India to win. And which player do you think will steal the show for either side if either side were to win?
Um, I think it's a big game for Abhishek. Eh?
Okay.
Yeah, I think Abhishek probably today. And Pakistan, I think Usman Tariq. Eh?
Okay. But like, who are you predicting though to win?
I'd go India. I'd go India probably 60-40. Yeah, I think it's going to be a close
All
game,
right.
but I'll go India. Yeah, I'll go
Yeah, I
India.
think I'll go. I think I'll go along with you on that. And any final words before we wrap off?
Yeah, I think we've got the last set of group games
Mhm.
this week. I think the most interesting one for me is probably India. I'm sorry, Sri Lanka and Australia
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
up on Monday, and then we obviously leading up to the Super Eight. But I think what we'll do next week is we'll try and preview the Super Eight fixtures and see where it takes us. So that's going to be very interesting. I can't wait for the Super Eight. That's going to be the really business end of this tournament.
I
It's
will
Super Eight.
say, if Australia, by some divine intervention, go through to the Super 8, watch out for them. They are a team that once they start getting confident, they'll surprise. Remember that 2023 World Cup, how they started and then they just played better. Although I would say
Yeah, but
they did have the best bowlers there, so that's the only difference.
I've got a counter argument to that. Australia have always been good
Sure.
in 50 over World Cups. They've
Oh,
not
yeah,
been
okay.
good in 20 in T20 World Cups. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something that's against them. 50 over
Mm,
World Cups, yeah, you cannot ride a team like of Australia.
mm,
That's why I don't read too much into the 2023 World Cup because that was a different format.
mm.
Australia have never been that good in T20 World Cups. Let's be honest. If you look at their record, the record
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
tournaments, hasn't
Yeah,
been
yeah.
that impressive. So I think Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka are in pole position to
Mm,
go through.
mm. Yeah.
Even if Australia somehow beats Sri Lanka, I can see Zimbabwe spanking Ireland
Ireland.
and getting a good win there as well. So
Yeah, yeah,
the way I see it at the moment, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe will go through, and we're going to have
yeah. Mm.
one upset that's probably one outsider team in Group A, which at the moment is probably looking like West Indies, India, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. That's going to be interesting, eh? Really, really
Yeah.
interesting. Mm.
Yeah, but then I think if you remember, Australia were good in that one World Cup, although that was dictated to by toss, in Dubai. But anyway, that's the yeah. But we've gone through that. They're
Yeah, that was
exhausting.
that was probably the one of the most predictable World Cups ever. You win the toss, you get second, and there was so much of due in that World Cup, if I recall.
Yeah.
There was so much of due. Yeah, it was so determined by due and stuff. So I don't think we're gonna get such a predictable World Cup this time around.
Mm.
But
Yeah, yeah.
it's going to be interesting. But I honestly think Zimbabwe are in pole position
Mm.
to go through with Sri
Yeah,
Lanka.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Any
That's
final
pretty
thoughts?
much a nope. I concur with you on that. But I always say you can never write of Australia if what happens tomorrow. But I think they probably come to net run rate because of I think so because Australia's only lost one. And I think you'll have a lot of teams on 3 points should that happen tomorrow. So that's what I'm saying. It could come down to net run rate. But I'm hoping for Sri Lanka to win. We need Australia out, along with England,
Well,
but
look,
England is unlikely.
look at it. I mean, this is the best time to be playing Australia. They're in a bit of a crisis
Mm,
at the moment. I mean, look at the
yeah.
number of injuries they've had. I mean, their
Mm,
captain is injured as well now, Mitchell Marsh.
mm,
I mean, they don't
mm,
have their full strength bowling lineup. So
mm.
Australia have a lot of issues at the moment in terms of the batting and bowling. Members being injured. So this is the best time for Sri Lanka to play
Yeah,
Australia.
yeah,
I mean, you're not going to get a better opportunity. Eh? And this is the time for
yeah.
them to catch it. Yeah, big
Uh,
time.
all right. I will check you next week, buddy.
Okay, man. Cheers. Oh,
Cheers, man.
cheers, man.